Hi, Tokyo Top.
And welcome to Rainbow Bear Pool Party.
What are you doing?
Oh, sorry, this is new and I'm not used to it.
I actually want to share with you guys because I feel like I've never shared this part of the story. I met you the first time at the Svida party.
Yes.
What is funny is like you're wearing this like
Fedora.
And I said hi and you like,
no, it's like hi bye.
Yeah, hi bye. Basically, we were very standoffish. Here's the thing. I feel like the Japanese definition of a bear is so different from the West. We saw people lining it up earlier, and I was like, the bear are not bearing.
Because we have that whole wide GMPD.
It's 4 different things.
It's 4 different things, right? So there's a lot of diversity within that community. So I don't know even if we're saying in English, is bear the right term that we should be using GMPD instead, because maybe bear doesn't really capture the whole essence.
So today we're gonna ask the people who come to the party, like, what is bear in Japan?
Yeah, what is a bear in Japan? I want to know. Do you want to know? Or is that your bro sign off?
Caught our first bear.
We caught our first bear. Bear trap. We had a bear trap capture.
Hello, my name is Elijah. I'm from the US originally, but I've been in Japan for a number of years.
Like how long?
We can beep it out.
No. 20 years now. So I started in Nagoya and lived in Gifu for about 2 years, and then back to Nagoya for a bit, and then moved up to Tokyo after the earthquake.
I hear Gifu all the time. So many foreigners.
Gorgeous.
Right?
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I've been there once.
Wait, the foreigners are gorgeous over there? Well, Gifu is gorgeous. Are there even gays over there? Gifu?
So I was fortunate to live next to the highway, and so the...
First, do you identify as a bear?
I mean, to some extent. I'm large, I'm hairy, and like that kind of just fits the general scheme of bear identity. So do I go to a lot of bear events? Probably not so much, but I do identify as bears. They don't dance.
Well, I thought they would have danced
Spilling
more.
the tea.
Like bears?
I thought they danced more.
Okay, here's the thing. What I have the image of bears, like people have more loose and relaxed attitude toward life. So they're more like easy to talk to, where like party, you know, like very relaxed vibe. That's what I think. Yeah.
Sure.
So, okay, another thing is like, I feel the definition of bear in Japan and in the US is totally different.
In what ways?
Like body hair. Also, I feel like the scale is quite different because, you know, the interesting is like, I posted a picture being like, oh, Tokyo BTM is gonna be at the Rainbow Bear Party, right? And I have all the pictures of the really hot bear go-go boys in Japan. And people commenting like, where are the bears?
Where are the bears?
Are the bears?
They brought the teddy bear. The go-go boys specifically, like, tend to be a bit on the smaller side of bears, I guess. I don't know if there's a reason for that.
So, and that kind of like rolls into my question. Do you think bear here is more like a vibe, like a personality, more than a look?
I would say to some extent, yeah, right? I think it's a little bit more of like moving at your own pace, doing the things that make you happy.
So I can be a bear too.
You could be a bear.
Okay.
I don't want to get into like the niche politics of bear.
Oh, there's politics. So there's politics.
I think one of the things around the bear community, specifically in Japan, is that it's really welcoming, really accepting, right? And so whether you identify as a bear, right, or identify as someone who likes bears or just enjoys having a good time.
Okay, my question: bear or twink?
Honest answer: twink.
Hair, no hair.
Oh, it depends on the person. I like them both.
Thank you so much.
Have fun today.
Thank you.
We caught our second bear.
Second bear. Bear trap.
Hello, my name is Tami. My rugby friends call me Tami-chan.
Hey, are you Japanese?
No, I'm Fijian.
Oh, you play rugby.
Oh,
you play rugby. What's your position?
Surprisingly, I play center.
And then they run at the end, right?
Yeah. No. Scrums are the forwards who give you the ball.
Let's go back to some bear questions.
Sure.
Are you a bear?
Yes. I mean, like, I was told by another bear that I'm not a bear. So
You're not a bear?
He told me, and he's like, I was like, okay. I was kind of confused with the definition of a bear then.
That's also interesting because I thought it's a welcoming community.
Yeah.
It can be like some people.
But it was only one person who told me that I wasn't a bear, but other guys have told me I'm a bear.
But I had the reverse. I had people tell me I'm a bear.
I feel that was just like insult.
But like that's
To the bears. Or
no, like someone was like, you should be moving into the bear space is what I was told.
I mean, there are always some like party poopers
Yeah, I
and
feel like
gatekeepers.
the rules
Yeah,
are...
I feel like you can define yourself whether
Yeah,
you're a bear or
yeah,
not.
you are.
Yeah.
Do you like bears?
I do.
What about them?
But bears don't like me, that's the thing.
No.
Wait.
I'm interested in bears, but I always go for guys who talk to me, if that makes sense. And they're normally of the lighter category. So all my friends are always surprised if I'm with somebody. They're like, wait, is he your type? And they're very surprised.
Do you think bears are popular in Japan?
Yes.
And
Yes.
like, let's say compared to home for you, is there a difference you feel?
Home, like Fiji, is very closeted. Fiji is a Christian country. My first gay bar I ever went to was here in Tokyo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Nichome. I've never been to one before. And then my first time I went there and I saw people kiss, I was like, oh, I'm home. Even when I studied in New Zealand, there was like, there's a mixed bar, but there's not really like a gay bar, if that makes sense.
Exclusive for gays. I see.
Yeah. Even though New Zealand seems open, but it's not really open because I played rugby there 20 years ago, and then I came out that I was gay to my rugby team, and then from going from professional rugby, I was pushed aside because I came out. Yeah. They're like, but they didn't say it.
Say it officially.
But like,
right?
the gays now have a lot easier.
Yeah.
So you think bears are popular? It's a very welcoming space here.
Yeah. Like, we're at a bear pool party, and I feel like there's different types of bears here, different
That's
types
true.
of body shapes. And
No, honestly, I thought like the bear are not bearing.
wait, am I considered a bear by your perception, or am I supposed to be?
I would say like gachimuchi for sure, but like I'm really not sure about the definition of bear in Japan again.
I feel like
Yeah.
nobody is.
Maybe that's part of the takeaway is that it's a spectrum. Like what type of guy is your type?
My typical type is a big bear, but I can never get with a big bear. That's what
Wait,
I mean.
why? I don't understand.
I don't know. I mean,
Wait, what kind of body should be called?
So like, I mean, there's so many guys here today.
Yeah.
I know, but like every time I approach a guy, like they follow me on Instagram. Every time I approach them, it's kind of like they just don't want to talk. So I'm like, why do you like my posts? Why
Wait,
do
they
you
don't
follow
want to
me?
talk, or they're just very passive?
Yes, super passive. They just don't talk. They just like,
Gotta
hi.
be aggressive.
And then there's
be
like,
aggressive.
I'm
Be
aggressive. That's why I'm
aggressive.
approaching them. I'm doing the 90%, but then I want
mean-
that like 10%.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna do 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I get that. Well, I hope you find your boyfriend today.
Yeah. So do I. Invite.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
緊張してますあ、全然じゃあどうぞ真ん中に
真ん中。こういうパーティー初めてですか？
僕は初めてです。
初めてですね。どういう風に知られたんですか？
お友達の誘いでなんか来ないかって言われて、
ペアタイプですか？
タイプです。
おー
やっぱこの筋肉乗ってる感じ
はい
が
はいはい
やっぱいいなっていう。強そうな感じとか包容力みたいな。
何守られたいっていう感じですか？
そう
なるほどね。
わかります。
包容されたい。
わかる。はいはい。
自分が細いんですけれども、でもタイプの人はちょっとガチムチとかGMPD の方っていう人はなんかそういう名称があるんですか？
なんだろう。GMPD じゃなくなっちゃうけど、その D 線 S み
そう
たいな。
D 線それ。なんか
デブ
そういう
線の細で DS で
DS でそういうパーティーあるんじゃないんですか？アスパラベーコン。それも言ったことがあるんですか？
行ったことないですよ。
じゃあ自分は S みたいな感じ。
自分はまあどちらかというと一応細かな。細ぶるい。D からしたらやっぱり細い、かなり細い方なんで。で、その大きい方が好きっていうのでアスパラベーコン。
なるほど。
ヒゲあったりなかったり両方でも大丈夫ですか？
僕はどっちでも。
どっちでも。
あんまり気にしないですね。なんかどっちもいけますね。
じゃあ体毛があった方がいいですか？
ちょっとエロいかな、そっちの方が。
エロいですか？
エロいですね。体毛あるとちょっとなんか
胸毛とか
オスっぽいというか。
オスっぽい。それが今日の用語、オスっ
ぽい。
で自分の好きな人がもともと毛深いんだけど急にもう全部襲ったらもう終わりですかみたいな。
のか。
引くんですか？
僕はありでもなしでも別に好きで、なしで似合う人もいればありで似合う人もいるじゃないですか。だからまあもともとあって剃っちゃっても別に僕的には構わないって感じなんで、そこはあんまり気にしてないですね。
一番大事なのが筋肉させてわかりました。
筋肉と脂肪のなんかその比率も気にするんですか？
でも筋肉の上に若干まあ脂肪が乗ってるくらいがまあベストって感じですね。
どっちもあった方がいいみたいな。脂肪だけでも全然いいけど、筋肉と脂肪あった方がみたいな。かといって筋肉だけでもって感じ。
なんかとりあえず自分よりはでかい人が。
でかい人はいいです。
このパーティーにはやっぱりもう GMPD が多いんじゃないんですか。細い人として参加するとなんか難しいところはあるんですか？
なんかまあ言うたらやっぱその GMPD の人がやっぱ多いじゃないですか。でこういう細の人がもう全くいないんで、まあちょっとなんか気まずい。
僕たち
同じ仲間です。
だからまあちょっと端っこの方で。
そんなにタイプいるならさ、ナンパするじゃないの今日。
なんかそのまあ言うたらそのタイプ外の人から話しかけられたらちょっとなんか相手も相手で。
でも隠れてると逆にナンパもうされないんじゃないんですか、逆に。だからもう隠れないでもう積極的に
いっぱい飲んで声かけた方がいいと思いますよ。かっこいいですね。いい脂肪ついてるみたいな。ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
めっちゃタイプだけど。でも GMPD がタイプだから。
They're not looking for you. You need to gain 65 kilos and
to attract the twinks.
And start going for those swings. The mayor of BTM.
Hi, my name is Don. I'm 37 years old, single, office worker, and mingle. I saw Meng and I said mingle first.
Mingle. He's ready to mingle. He's ready to mingle. Well, I mean, he's looking for a bear today, so.
Looking for them. There's so many people.
Do you consider yourself a bear?
I do now. You know why that is?
Why?
Age. I look fatter. I look bigger. I don't think when I was in my 20s I would say myself was a bear. I don't think I was an otter. I was just like in between.
Has anyone caught your eye at the party?
There's a lot of people who I've seen on apps. And even before I came here today, I was talking with my friends. I said, I'm pretty sure there's people who I've DM'd or they've DM'd me, they've responded to my stories, or they messaged me on the apps, and they're probably just gonna be super shy.
Wait, hold on. You were like totally talking to some guy earlier. Like I saw.
We tried to film him earlier.
And I was like, and just like he's talking to his friend. I was like, no, Don is fucking numpying at the moment.
And we got closer. I was gonna say hi, and then you're all like, oh, I'm Don. I was like, oh, okay, bye.
No,
Jama datta. I believe, Don, was it our 2022 dating review video?
Yes.
That your goal for 2023 was to date with intent.
Next question. I'm always intentional, and it's in my Grindr profile if you check it as well. But I think that intent. Ooh.
Did he just walk?
And that ass just jiggled.
I know,
too.
yeah.
He's not a bear though. He's looking for one.
So I was gonna.
Okay.
Not a bear.
Not a bear.
Not a bear. What's a bear?
Not that.
For everyone at home, a man just walked by and walked into a pole, I guess. So that guy was not a bear in your opinion.
He was not a bear, but he's probably looking for bears.
Wait, hold on.
What's up?
So we just had an interview saying that if you identify as a bear, you can be a bear. It doesn't really matter what kind of body type you have.
And most gays want to identify as bear back. But what I will say is that they need to have a little chunk on them. Like, I feel like there's muscles, but everyone calls muscly guys muscular. They're not bears. I feel like you need to have let yourself go, not concentrate on what people are looking for in you, and then when you decide to actually take care of yourself and you find out, oh, well, the mix of muscle and some thickness turns into a bear, that's what needs to happen.
We're talking about future husbands, right?
Yes.
What is your ideal future husband at the moment? Like, do they have to be a bear?
They do not have to be a bear. Look at me. I'm just myself.
I'm giving you some spaces right now.
Young, youthful, drink my water. It's all about heart for me. Someone who has heart and lives their life freely is going to attract me more than body type to me. But again, living freely and authentically is, in Japan, hit or miss here. So I'm looking for that, and that hooks me instantly.
my very limited understanding of the bear community, even worldwide, is that it is more welcoming and like diverse, and everyone's sort of very kind and friendly, right? So getting back to that, what you were just talking about, that heart, would you find that type of heart and that type of openness and maybe authentic living and all that stuff, is you're more likely to find it within the bear community than other places?
That's a very hard question. To put it simply, it's a niche community. I want to say that most bears like other bears because they don't have anything to be very embarrassed by or intimidated by. When you like someone who looks like you, again, you're not fighting for someone's attention, or you're not trying to look like someone's attention. And then if you are accepted within that, then there are people who show themselves easier because they let down that barrier.
Are bears bitches to each other?
I've not seen a lot of bitchy bears. I do think that I think that the nicest thing comes in, but again, it's a thing of being accepted.
So what I'm getting from this
It's possible.
is, just as we always talk about on the channel, is people just go after people who look like themselves.
Yes, I think that's the easiest way. If you look at yourself in the mirror, and you look at someone who looks similar to you, you'll think, oh, they probably have the same routine, the same diet, the same habits as I do. So I don't have to ask about or be worried about whether or not their lifestyle is different.
Okay, should we have some like lighter questions? Oh my god, it's getting so deep.
Facts and numbers.
He's not a bear, right?
Which one? Blue shorts? He's got titties.
At all. He's just a muscular guy.
He's muscular. He's muscular. He's thick, but he's not super like cut.
No, he is cut.
He's
cut.
cut. He is
I don't know what he's talking
He's not
about.
super cut.
G out of the GMPD. He's the G.
He's the gachi D.
Here's the
Macho.
thing. Listen to me. GMPD, G cannot get into GMPD. It's GM can get into GMPD.
No. Everything G and the M and the P and the D and the
Can
G
be
and the
on
M
their
and the M and the P and the G and the P and the G and the D, and everyone just wants the D.
Thank you for coming along with us, and we're gonna go do some dances, I guess. I told this guy like his body has changed so much this year, and also constantly on every single video, there are viewers saying like your body looks so good right now, and your bicep is much bigger than before.
Thank you. I was working out 3 days a week, and then I saw Sai on the channel, but I just asked him, I was like, watching him eat, how much protein did he have that day? And I was like, shit, I'm not eating enough protein. And then I asked him about it, he was like, no, you gotta eat more. I was like, okay. And then he was like, you gotta go to the gym more. And then he like added to my routine.
Hold on, I thought you wanted to be a twink.
I want to become hosomacho.
A twink?
Yeah.
So,
But
I don't know why you
no.
follow size eating or
It's
training
not so much
schedule.
it's not so much about eating schedule, it's about the protein schedule.
Today is nothing about Hosomacho. It's all about the bears. So we're gonna join the bears, and I hope you guys have a very fun day.
See you later.
Should we go closer? Is it considered safe?